Or if you buy him one of those bendy tripods, he'll wind up being your best friend for life. So let me introduce my good friend, David Villa.
I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world.
All right, how you guys doing today? All right, I'm gonna give some books away for two people that are self-proclaimed social like butterflies. You just don't. Here, come here real quick. I'm gonna give these to you. Somebody else, really quick, come get these. I want you to find 5 people. Keep one, find 4 people. I'll sign them later, and just find 4 women that are grinding it. Maybe those you've met this week, and just hand them out to them. So, all right, we're gonna talk about grind. And when you hear this, you may think of multiple things. I mean, it's a buzzword that every one of us have heard. I've been in business for over 20 years, and I used to define grind. I didn't say it, but I would define grind, or the concept of grind, is just working 80 hours a week, literally sacrificing everything that was in front of me to reach my goal, to build a business, to make it, whatever it is. And I learned a while back, and it's interesting because I learned a while back, and it was taught to me by women in my life, watching strong women, professional women, such as my wife, who's married 25 years this year, also my CFO of our company that we started together, watching strong women around me do it the right way, and not realizing that I thought I had the definition of grind, but all along, she did. The women around me did, because it's amazing. And I know we're at a women's conference, and what I want to say is this book I wrote, what I'm talking about today, I don't think it would happen if it weren't for women. And because I've never witnessed the true definition of grind, what I'm getting ready to show you here, this is the definition that Webster says grind means, right? To reduce something to small particles or powder by crushing it, to pound, to pulverize, to erode away. Just by a show of hands, I mean, how many have felt like you've worked there? I mean, before, in your career, have you ever worked there? The place where nobody, you guys have all had great jobs. I mean, I've worked there before. I've been that guy who have had the employees that work for me, thinking that, hey man, look, if you're not working 60 hours a week, if you're not burning the candle at both ends, if you call in sick, something's wrong with you, right? I've been that person, and in 2008, when probably what we were doing $10 or $11 million, I had about 10 of my top people walk out on me because my definition of grind didn't line up with the priorities in their life. They couldn't do it. And so to reduce something to small particles or powder by crushing it, to pound, to pulverize, to erode away, it's just not gonna cut it anymore. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, everything I thought that I was trying to reach, not only did I not get there, but I'm further along today in the last 10, 11 years, because I've redefined the grind than I ever was when I was burning the candle at both ends. So I looked at women like my wife and people around me, strong people that were hard workers. They were supporters. They would be the person that when you had, I don't know if you've ever had this, but I'm a visionary, and I've had people kick me in the teeth and tell me why something couldn't work, and then I have a strong woman right around me that says, look, it can work, and you know what, your dream is not a pipe dream, and begin to encourage me, but yet balance the family life, and make her kids a priority, and make her home a priority, and make time a priority, and I admire that. And so I'm going to say to you ladies that guys out there, we want those things too. We just don't know it. See, I was taught by my father, who was taught by his father, who was taught by his father to be a workaholic. And I'm going to say that success is a marathon and not a sprint. I want it now. I want it yesterday. I want it in 10 seconds. We have a drive-through that has a drive-through. I mean, I get mad in the drive-through at Starbucks when it's not moving fast enough and somebody's being nice at the window because I'm in a hurry, right? We convenience stores aren't fast enough. We want Uber Eats to deliver food to us. I mean, it's like I want it now. I want to work up until my plate is in front of me on the table, and then I stop working, pick my fork up and eat it, and then it gets taken away so I can continue to work. So I've realized that, listen, I want to sprint and I want it now, but every time I've ever tried to do it fast, right, I jack things up. Has anybody else ever been there? I mean, I just mess it up. Look, the definition of an insanity, Einstein said, is to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and then and expect a different result. Success is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So I have redefined the grind. And I would suggest, I got so passionate about it, I wrote a book about it. It's a bite-sized book. I read it, and listen, I write books, I read them, and anybody that tells you that has my personality that they are readers, that means they read like a chapter a day, or they read maybe a couple of pages a day, because I don't have the attention to sit down and read a book, but I can read this in 45 minutes. And I've redefined the grind. Because if you don't, I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much potential you have. I don't care how big your vision is. I don't care how big your dream is. I don't care how great your product is. I don't care how great your employees are. You and those around you are susceptible to burnout, and they will fade away. Because no one can sustain that. Biblically it says, what profits a man, right, or a person to gain the world and lose his own soul? I look at that in my corporate life, in my professional life. If I had it all, but I turned around and I didn't leave a legacy for my kids. See, some of the strongest women in my life, my mother who passed away 4 years ago because she did whatever it took. She wasn't a professional woman, but she did whatever it took. I admire that. She passed away with cancer early. My wife, who is a professional woman that literally is one of the strongest women I know, and she tells me the things I don't want to hear as well as the things I do. And then the other two are my daughters. One of them is 20 should be 25, and the other one is 17. And here's why. Because they weren't raised in a home that knows the difference between male and female when it comes to what they can and can't do. So guess what? My daughters are just doing it. See, they're just doing it. And so that's what, that excites me, because legacy and not fading away and not burning out, that means something to me. Because see, my daughters don't have to be told. I don't have to look at them and remind them, because they've just been taught. My daughter, my 17-year-old, she thinks she can just beat any boy around her at anything she's doing, and she does. Because she doesn't know any better. It's not like, hey, listen, you're a girl, listen, this is your place. No, she's just gonna win. She's just gonna do it. So your feet may hurt and you may be tired. And I gave some of my employees a few years ago, I said, guys, and we were doing some motivation, and we kind of do unique motivation, and it was our sales team. At the end of the week, I said, hey, give me quotes. Let's make some quotes up here based on how you feel. And one of my sales guys at that time said, are you tired and frustrated, or are you tired and accomplished? And I thought about that. And if you guys have ever had a hamster in a 10-gallon aquarium, or a mouse or whatever, I've never owned one. My mother didn't let me. My wife won't let me, so I don't have one. But if I go to the stores and I look at them, right, I admire them. And I'm looking at these in the cage, and I've always been amazed why a hamster or a rat or mouse or whatever would get on a wheel, right, and run. Like, right? How many have treadmills and don't use them, right? But this mouse, for no reason, gets on this thing and starts running. And my mind works weird. So when I saw the quote that Josh, one of my employees, came up with, are you tired and frustrated, or tired and accomplished? I got the definition of grind in my heart. And I said, okay, so this is the difference. If you take a mouse and you put cheese on the outside, right? We all want the cheese. How many want cheese? Right? Cheese is success. Cheese is your passion. Cheese is your goal. It's your why. You take the cheese, the why, and you put it on the outside. Just go with me in my mind for a second. Put it on the outside of the 10-gallon aquarium where he can see it, she can see it, and he jumps on the wheel, right, and just runs his little butt off. You ever wonder why they don't get skinnier, by the way? Anyway, so they run their little butt off, right, and they're running and they're running and they're running. They're trying to get the cheese, but how many know that they can't, no matter how hard they try, unless they have this ability to leap over, they're not going to get there. So they just keep going and keep going until they can't do it any longer. That's tired and frustrated. Have you been there? Have you ever been there? Maybe the process was not in place. Maybe the company you work for, or the opportunity that was afforded you were working for someone that just didn't see it. They saw the cheese, they saw their methods, and they weren't open to anything else. And you were running and you were trying to get it, but you were tired and frustrated. Take that same mouse, take the same cheese, put it in a maze. You ever seen one of those old school mazes? I used to like doing that as a kid, kind of just a little start finish. You put the cheese at the end, you put the mouse at the start. How many know that's difficult? Mazes aren't, easy. So it's difficult, it's challenging. See, I don't know about you, I don't mind challenge. I don't mind even adversity. That's not our enemy, right? Adversity is not the enemy. So, same mouse at the starting line, gets the cheese, wins, he's tired, but he's accomplished. Have you ever left for the week? Have you ever left to go home to your family, tired. I mean, you're gonna lay your head down. Look, I'm 46 years old. I just turned 46. I have no problem sleeping. I lay my head down on the pillow and I'm out in like 10 seconds. But if you lay your head down, you go to sleep, but you're accomplished. Isn't that a much better feeling? So sometimes grinding, when we think of grind, you listen to Gary Vee, you listen to all these guys out there, and listen, there's some great things they talk about. But a lot of times those who follow them, or those, if they're not careful, sometimes they will define something the wrong way. They'll look at grind and they'll go, I just got to do, I just got to go, I just got to run, I just got to hustle, I just got to work, I just got to go after. The ones I love the most are and God bless you, you're in the auto industry, you have to work on Saturdays and things like that. We don't, in our company, but Sunday at 10 o'clock at night, somebody's tweeting out, man, I worked all day today, I was in the office by myself and just grinding. And I don't like that. I go, I pity you, because there's not enough money on the planet. There's not enough money on the planet that's going to fill whatever breaks down the road. Your body, your family, your life, your health. You can't sustain that. Sometimes grinding means taking a step back, right? It means I got to reassess the situation. It's not working myself to the bone, nor is it losing sleep. I was LeBron James. I mean, he's a great basketball player. Like him, love him, hate him. The guy's phenomenal. And I was watching a documentary where he was talking about getting 11 hours of sleep a day. LeBron James, I never seen him sleep. I'm not in his house at night, but the guy sleeps 11 hours a day. See, grinding is not always running. Sometimes we have to step back. I believe our family time is important. I believe that downloading. See, I do something. I try to practice. I don't want to crash, so I set my phone aside in the car. But see, it used to, before social media, and look, I'm just like you. My phone, I'm kind of going through a little withdrawal right now because it's not on me. And when it makes a noise, we're looking at it. All hours of the night, my phone's making all kinds of weird noises. I think it helps me sleep now. But when I'm in the car, I do something that I used to do because I didn't have social media, and I set my phone aside and I turn the radio off. I don't have anything, and I drive home and I use that time to decompress. Why? Because that's part of grinding. See, part of grinding is that. Your grind must forever stay on your mind. You go, wait a minute, Dave, you're all over the place. No, I'm not. It's your why is important. Your passion is important. The why you do it, you got to get that. You got to find out your it. You got to find out what moves you. You have to find out your passion. It's not for a paycheck. Take the top athletes in the world, the top earners in Tiger Woods in golf, and LeBron James and these individuals, and none of them do it for the money anymore. I mean, God, Tiger Woods worth nearly $1 billion. The guy doesn't play golf because he needs money. He can buy the house, the car, the vacation, the trip, the watch, anything he wants. He does it because he's competitive. The grind's on his mind. But your time is your most valuable possession. You've heard this, but you got to be reminded of it, because I don't think there's anything really new under the sun. If you look for, to get up here and give you some kind of revelatory kind of new knowledge, I don't really think that's what we need. I think sometimes I need to be reminded. Every time I've ever jacked it up, somebody that cares enough about me to look at me and go, you're jacking it up, and here's why. You want to know why? No. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I want to know why. Here's why. Because you used to do this and you're not doing it anymore. Do you remember when you did this? Do you remember when you thought this way? Do you remember when? And I'm like, wow. Your why, your passion. You can't purchase more time. You can't create more time. Stop losing sleep. Stop missing out on your family. Start being more productive. And I'm going to tell you, I'm more encouraged every day in this industry. Men, women, it doesn't matter. I am so encouraged. I was just talking to, we work with about 400 dealers a month, and I get a chance to talk to a lot of them and speak to a lot of them personally. And I was talking to some people this past week, some big groups, and how they're adapting different not only pay plans, different schedules. And they're getting it. They're getting it. Why? So I'm going to tell you that if you are a person that is worth having, I believe in somebody working and striving for what's in the heart of me and the leaders of the company. And if I make as an employee, right, to my company, if I make your dreams and desires, which by the way is our mission statement, a place where your dreams can be realized. If I make your dreams a reality and passionate to me, then you'll make mine and the company's a passion of yours. So start being more productive with your time. I believe our actions have to align with our words. We come to these things, and one of the things that I started doing, and I started putting people around me, and a lot of them are women. I have some strong women that are in our company, and because they don't, this is just my experience. They're not there to make friends. They're not there to goof off. They're not there they're there because they are passionate about what they're doing. And I've got some strong women that are just, they don't tell you the truth. And I'm like, hey, listen, I want you, if my mouth says something, and I'm not walking it out, call me on the carpet. So we'll get in meetings. And I'll sit there. And the first thing I did it this morning with some of my team, and I'm like, okay, talk to me about it. Talk to me about it. What do you think about this? I changed something at the last minute because my social media manager, Taria, said, hey, I think you should do this, and I changed it. Because collaboration is key, but our words and our actions must align. We can't talk about it, we have to be about it. And if we want to inspire anyone, if you're leading a team here, and you want to inspire anyone, I believe that we have to be about it. We can't just talk about it, because that's what people are looking for. I don't believe that people are motivated by just money. I believe that people are motivated by what they're passionate about. At the same time, on the flip side, just really quick, millennials. I have millennials that care. Millennials, by the way, care about success. How many millennials do we have in the room? Do you care? See, listen, millennials don't want to be broke. Okay, they don't want to be broke. I've done some study on that. They don't want to be broke. Nobody wants to be. They're humans, right? I mean, when I was 21 years old, I did some of the same things. I mean, come on, right? 25, 21. Millennials don't want to be broke. Listen, the studies show they came from broken homes. Studies show that fathers and mothers worked so hard they weren't there. Do you know that the grind was the daily grind? It wasn't grinding daily, it was the daily grind. So they looked at it as like, I want to get as far away from that as possible. Did you know that that's one of the main reasons that we think millennials don't care about making money? Let's teach them the right way, right? Find out why you're grinding. Do you know that? I believe that if you're passionate about it, I don't care what it is you're passionate about. Somebody had up, the lady from Facebook had up that wall that said, what scares you? And I would encourage you to jump. I'd encourage you to, if you're that passionate about it, I'm a big believer that you can monetize it. I mean, I believe that, listen, I've seen some really crazy things, and so have you, in business, because somebody got passionate about something. So find out what you're grinding for. It's your why that'll keep you going when you feel like giving up. How many have ever wanted to quit? How many have ever wanted to quit? I mean, I want to quit every week. I mean, someone will see me and go, man, I see your stuff on Facebook. I see man, how do you do it? I mean, I want to quit. I'm like, well, so do I. If you call me at the wrong time, I might jump in the car with you and we'll go out together. I mean, like, look, you open my shirt, there's no cape. I mean, there's no S. Come on. I mean, right, listen, and I only have a couple of minutes, but I mean, I'm laying in bed in the morning, and as you can see, I'm not at the gym all the time, but I'm getting up early. But I'm up early. My eyes are open. But I mean, like, my body doesn't want to get out of bed all the time, and I'm like, and listen, if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to get up when I feel that motivation just hit me, right? I mean, you may lay there all day. Listen, I got to make myself get out of bed. Guys, it's what gets me up in the morning is what I'm passionate about, right? And it's when I don't feel like it and when I do. And I have to remind myself that, look, you're going to put your left foot down on the ground, and you're going to put your right foot down on the ground, and if you got to fall on the floor and then get back up and climb, you got to do whatever you got to do, because it's in the non-negotiable, right? Because I'm passionate about it. Passion is not a feeling, right? Passion, you got to fake it until you make it. I don't mean fake the motive, but fake it until you make it. Get up and you got to go. That's what grinding does. But it's not working 80 hours a week, but it's working. Let me tell you something. I'm 46. Do you remember anybody remember the Flintstones? I have 2 minutes. Do you remember in the intro something? I mean, I remember because the intro, right? When the time clock or the little pterodactyl, whoa, right? It was quitting time. What did he do? He jumped up, yabba dabba doo, slid down the back of the dinosaur, took whatever that Pop-Tart looking thing was, and he punched it in the dinosaur's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Bam, closed it, and he's out the door. Peace, I'm gone, I'm going home. Look, listen, at 6 o'clock, my team is gone. We're wrapping it up, we're done. Because I'm a workaholic by nature. Find out why you're grinding. Grinding out, I'm done, is very real. Working yourself to death is not enjoyable, it's not glamorous, and it's not the recipe for success. So grind stands for get ready. It's a new day, because I believe this: everyone that embraces the redefine of the grind will absolutely take it. I promise you that. Thank you guys very much. God bless.